What's going on, guys? It's Brian from Stub Club, and we are back for another 25 Days of Disney. Today we are talking about Jingle All The Way.
Every holiday season, there's one toy everyone has to have.
I want the Turbo Man action figure with the arms and legs that move, and the rock and roaring jetpack, and the boomerang shooter.
Getting it is every child's dream.
Whoever doesn't can be a real loser.
Finding it
You got the doll, right?
is this father's nightmare.
I'll get that toy. I promise.
Whoa! Nothing like waiting until the last minute, Howard, sir.
Especially on Christmas Eve.
Turbo Man, you're mine! They're all gone.
These two are looking for a Turbo Man!
Where's your Christmas spirit?
The last one just left.
Now, it's two fathers,
This is war.
one mission,
Oh, poor baby.
and every man for himself.
I'm thinking maybe, we could join up as a team. Like Starsky and Hutch.
We're a late delivery of Turbo Man. That toy works. Let's go. Is there a problem, officer?
You can never do too much to make a child's Christmas magical.
Hey, buddy.
From the director of Mrs. Doubtfire,
You want a Turbo Man for Christmas?
Forget it. I'm not gonna sit in your lap.
Tony, show him.
That was taken this morning.
and from the director of The Flintstones.
Don't open that up. No.
Of course, there's some assembly
You know
required.
what you guys are? Nothing but a bunch of sleazy con men in red suits.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad,
I work for the post office, and I'm unstable. Tell him.
This man is totally insane.
Thank you.
Christmas comes but once a year.
Jingle All The Way.
You picked the wrong day.
Now, originally this was not a Disney property, but since now Disney owns basically everything under the sun, it is now on Disney Plus, so we are going to review it. It's actually one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. The only ones that are above that right now are The Grinch and maybe Polar Express, but that's because I just like the way Polar Express looks. We are talking about Jingle All The Way, which stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Jake Lloyd, and a whole cast of other characters. And to me, this is probably one of the funniest Christmas movies of all time. It makes fun of the toy crisis, or the Tickle Me Elmo crisis that happened when Tickle Me Elmo came out. There were people all over the place trying to get this toy. People were getting hurt, people were getting robbed, and people were getting stolen from. Kids were throwing temper tantrums because they weren't getting the toy, and these marketers, these Toys R Us stores, all this stuff, KB Toys, all these 90s toys emporiums didn't have enough of it. So this is taking that story and making it with this Turbo Man doll.
Turbo Man dolls. They're all gone.
In the movie, it's Turbo Man. In real life, it's Tickle Me Elmo. Perhaps you're wondering, what does Elmo do?
Oh, wow, that tickles.
This may very well be the last Tickle Me Elmo to be found in the Bay Area, but he's already sold. And when we brought him out into the store, we caused a near riot.
I've been looking everywhere for this, everywhere.
But you can't have this one. It's the last one.
Oh, well,
Now let go.
Oh,
Gotta
we're gonna
let
fight
go.
over Elmo?
We placed this Elmo out on this toy store shelf as bait. Within 30 seconds, someone would notice and try to snatch him up.
My wife's due in 3 weeks, and she says I have to find a Tickle Me Elmo, and it's not even born yet, so...
Is it hard to find?
You can't find it in Montana. I'm from Montana, so...
You can't find it in San Francisco.
Not so far.
What are your odds of finding Tickle Me Elmo in the Bay Area right now?
Ooh, not very good.
FAO Schwartz has pre-sold 1,000 Elmos at $54 each. Here at this Target store, the Elmos disappeared the day after Thanksgiving.
We had about 200 of them in, and they were gone all within about 6 hours.
200 at one store.
Yes.
Come along with me, now I'm in your PC with fashion designer.
The other hot toys include CD-ROM Barbie and Nintendo 64, but even they can't rival the demand for Elmo.
How much you want to sell it for?
What's your asking price?
Well, what's your selling price? Oh, about $60, $70.
You'd go up that high?
Yeah, I will. Because I know somebody wants it.
Turbo Man is a superhero. He has gadgets. He's super strong. And he is the talk of the toy world right now. This is the biggest Christmas gift that anybody could ever get. And Arnold Schwarzenegger needs to get this toy for his kid because he's too focused on work that he forgot to get the toy. The beginning of the movie is Jake Lloyd, and he's going to a karate practice where he's going to be given I think it's either a yellow belt or a purple belt. And his dad is supposed to be there, but his dad is too busy making sales, and he's too busy at work. He is the overworked father of this movie. So he goes and he tries to make it to the thing. He gets pulled over by this cop who's going to be a recurring character, and he doesn't make it in time for Jake's, I can't remember his name, but I'm just going to keep calling him Jake Lloyd. He can't get there for Jake Lloyd's karate tournament, karate practice final thing. He goes and he's talking about the Turbo Man action figure with all of these details and all these gadgets that it comes with the toy. And what is funny is that Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to get this weeks ago for Jake Lloyd because they're going to be sold out everywhere. So the whole movie now is Arnold doesn't have this. Arnold doesn't have this toy, and he has to go all over the city, all on Christmas Eve, trying to find this toy. A mailman who's played by Sinbad is also looking for this toy so that he can not be a horrible father. This is the whole thing is about being a terrible father to their kids, and how the moral of the story is that obviously toys aren't what's going to make you a good father. It's being a good father and enjoying your kid's life with them, being there for them, and enjoying what they're doing, and being a part of them. But there's a lot of fun hijinks that happen. They are trying to get this raffle that's going, and there's just these little tiny balls that bounce everywhere. This ball is defying the laws of physics. It's bouncing everywhere and anywhere. It ends up in this little girl's hand, and it's like the 90s little girl where you can't really tell if it's a little girl or a little boy, which is, to me, that's really funny. Arnold is going all over the place. There's a lot of slapstick. This is when he was doing comedies instead of action films and stuff like that. He ends up getting into a sort of risky deal with a mall Santa, and there's a whole almost gang, almost mafia of this Santa gang. And this is the very first movie where, if you're a wrestling fan, the Big Show, Paul White, makes an appearance. Because Arnold is not having it with this Spanish-speaking Turbo Man doll. They're getting into fights. There's Ninja Santas where they're using candy canes as nunchucks. There's Brawler Santas, and then there's this giant Santa, which is played by the Big Show Paul White. And I believe there's the elf who plays in Bad Santa. I believe he's in this movie as well. I could be wrong, but he gets thrown. The cops come in and break it all up like it's an actual, it's almost like it's a drug ring. It's so outlandishly weird, but it's so hilarious at the same time. There is a radio station that's having a contest for a Turbo Man doll, but they don't listen to the whole thing. Sinbad and Arnold race to the radio station to get this, and the question is, can you name all 8 of Santa's reindeer, excluding Rudolph? And he does, and Arnold's running down the street saying every reindeer, and he's just saying it over and over again so he doesn't forget it. They get to the thing, and Sinbad also beats him. It also gets there, and they're fighting over this. And the radio guy calls the cops and says, "There's people in here. I need security." The thing was a coupon for later on in the year to get a Turbo Man doll. The whole thing's coming. They're about to get arrested. Sinbad has a package, and he says, this part is funny, but it's also not funny because there's a package with a bomb. He says there's a package with a bomb in it. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. They drop it and they run. The cop that's been getting basically mauled unintentionally by Arnold is one of the cops that are there. He's had his police spike mirror taken out by Arnold. He's had like hot coffee spilled on him, stuff like that. All this slapsticky stuff. He says, "Hold on, I'm gonna check it. I used to be on the bomb squad." He picks it up. Now you can tell this is '90s, but he picks it up and he goes, "We've been had." And it cuts to Sinbad and Arnold running away, and all of a sudden you hear boom, and they both turn around, and Sinbad goes, "That was an actual bomb?" He goes, "That was an actual bomb?" And they goes, "This is a sick world." And it's so funny because they cut back to them and they're all covered in soot and smoke and stuff like that, and they just hits the floor. So getting to the climax, there is the Christmas Day parade, and this is in an indistinct town in Minnesota. I probably could say this is Minneapolis, Minnesota, but who knows? And Turbo Man's supposed to be there. Arnold ends up getting dressed in the Turbo Man outfit due to unforeseen circumstances. One of the nerds from Revenge of the Nerds is Booster, who is Turbo Man's sidekick, and they have to choose this kid. And Arnold is, you can obviously tell that Arnold was, they made Turbo Man after Arnold. He fits into the suit perfectly. He's built like a brick house. You can obviously tell. Sinbad ends up putting on the outfit of it's the bad guy. He has a big brain on his head within a jar that shakes around. It's hilarious. And they have this fight, and they actually have a real working jetpack. Never would have thought, but they have a real working jetpack. And he flies around the city, Arnold does, and he's trying to save his son, Jake. He's trying to save his son, Jake Lloyd, from Sinbad, because Jake Lloyd now has the Turbo Man doll. And they go through this whole fight. Sinbad's getting arrested. Arnold takes off his helmet so Jake can see that it's his dad, and Jake ends up giving Turbo Man to Sinbad for his kids, and it's a good wholesome family ending. I didn't even talk about the neighbor. The neighbor's hilarious. The neighbor is so much fun. He has the hots for Arnold's wife, and he tries so hard to basically get with her. He's helping her put up Christmas decorations. He's baking her cookies for her. He's doing all this stuff because he's divorced, and has all these women swooning over him, but the only one he doesn't have is he's basically like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. He has every girl that he wants except for Belle, or in this case, Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife. So watch this movie. I think it's hilarious. It's definitely not a masterpiece of a film, but it's very much fun to watch. So watch this movie. For me, I give it 5 stars, but again, that's my personal preference. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you tell us what you thought about Jingle All The Way, and we'll see you next time on 25 Days of Disney. Bye, guys.